So here we go again with Jeb Bush. He let his elitist colors show, and he didn't even realize it. So on Wednesday, he was discussing Medicare, and he said the following, quote, "We need to make sure we fulfill the commitment to people that have already received the benefits, that are receiving the benefits, but we need to figure out a way to phase out this program for others and move to a new system that allows them to have something because they're not going to have anything." So then he went on to praise Paul Ryan for proposing his voucher bill, or in other words, the privatization of Medicare. And he said, that plan like that makes sense. I would support a policy like that. Now, I need the Democrats, pay attention. Wake up, guys. Let's go here. Up and at 'em. I need you to pay attention here. Keep this in mind, that Jeb Bush, we have the evidence, we have the quotes. He said, yeah, let's do a Ryan-type plan. So let's do a privatization-type plan. We need to phase out Medicare as it exists right now. Because if he makes it to the general election, he will say that he never said that. He's going to say it because every other Republican has said it. It's the standard thing that they all do. They'll talk about when they're talking to, and by the way, he was talking to a room full of rich people here. So when they're talking to a room full of Wall Street people, a room full of rich people, sometimes in the primary process, they'll say, we need to phase out Medicare because it's unsustainable. But then by the time they get to the general, because they know they have to run more to the middle, and the overwhelming majority of the country is on the side of keeping those programs as they are, then they say, I never said that I wanted to privatize it. I said we needed to reform it. That's the sidestep that they'll do come the general election. And again, we know because that's exactly what happened in the last election, that's exactly what happened with McCain. It's been happening time and time. Even if you go back as far as fucking Reagan and all the Republicans, they mean cut the program. Sometimes they mean just get rid of it, like Jeb Bush is saying. But then they'll pivot to, no, I mean reform. I want you to get your benefits. I just want you to get it a different way, a.k.a. give all the money to my Wall Street buddies so they can make a profit. Now, what's the reality about Medicare? Because their main argument, when they're being honest with you, is always, well, it's unsustainable. So that's the reason why we want to get off it. We're doing it out of necessity. We're not doing it because we want to do it and because our donors want us to do it. It's out of necessity. Now, that point is untrue because Medicare is solvent until 2030, and then after that, it pays out 87% of its benefits. So oftentimes you'll hear people on the right say, it's going bankrupt. It's going bankrupt. And they'll just leave it at that. They won't give you any, really when? They won't tell you a year. They won't tell you any details of it. So I'm telling you the details right now. Until 2030, it pays out 100% of its benefits. It's solvent. And then after that, it pays out 87% of its costs. And by the way, every time they come back to do an analysis of it, they find that it's solvent for longer than they originally thought. So the last time they did analysis on this, they said Medicare is solvent until 2024, and then it'll pay out 87% of its benefits. Then they just came around and did another analysis of it, and they found out, oh, look at that, it's solvent until 2030. So every time they check it, it's like, okay, no, we still have many years left of solvency, and then you don't go bankrupt, you pay out 87% of the benefits. So little tweaks can fix the program, but they want to scrap the program because they want to help out their donors. And finally, the most important part, which is why I'm screaming at the Democrats to remember this, is 58% of the American people say do not cut Medicare under any circumstance. Any circumstance. That's such an important fact to remember. You're going to win on this issue. You just have to hammer this issue home, and you can't let them squirm away when they try to bullshit you and say, I never said cut, I said reform, blah, 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 blah. Quote him. I have the quote right here. You take the fucking quote, you run with it. You say this back to his face. You can crush, see, that's the thing. Democrats don't realize your positions are actually more popular. So if you run an election campaign effectively, you can't lose. You hammer them with their dumb ideas and the shit that they want that virtually none of the American people want. And you think I'm kidding about that? How you like this? 70% of Tea Party supporters even say, don't cut it. Don't cut Medicare. So while these guys may be in favor of some other crazy policies that you and I might not agree with, they have a sacred cow too. That sacred cow is not only Medicare, it's also Social Security and education spending. Even the far right says, you could leave those. The only people who want to cut those are the Wall Street class, the corporatists, and the elitists. People like Jeb Bush. So Democrats, pounce! This is coming from the same guy who just said the American people should work more hours. That's what he said. He's like, to compete globally, we need to work more hours. That's your solution for the fucking economy? Work more hours. That's your solution. We already work way more hours than most of the industrialized world. I showed you guys the numbers on that the other day. Your solution is work more. Not, hey, we need to link wages with productivity because then everybody gets a raise. No, he still wants to underpay you, but he wants you to work more hours. So he wants you to work more hours, get paid less, and he wants to cut your benefits. Why would anybody vote for Jeb Bush? Nobody should vote for Jeb Bush, even if you're a principled conservative.